What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching the TF Movie Show. This is just a web series. We're talking about the Transformers live-action movie franchise. This is episode number 71, and in this episode, we are going to talk about more details for the 7th installment in the Transformers live-action movie franchise, tentatively titled Transformers Beast Alliance. That is the working title. We don't know if it's going to stick, but I personally love this title. I think it sounds very, very cool. I think it's a great title for a film, a Transformers film, that's going to be the introduction to Beast Wars and Maximals. That's going to be really cool. Now, the key word that I like about this this working title is the word alliance. Is this an alliance between the Autobots and the Maximals? That's what I'm thinking. That's what it suggests. I mean, it could be another type of alliance. It could be an Autobot and human alliance, but we've seen that before. We've seen that in Revenge of the Fallen. We see that in Dark of the Moon. We don't need a title for an alliance between humans and Autobots. You might as well call it Transformers Nest. You know what I'm saying? Or what are the other forces? The TRF? No, the TRF was there to kill Transformers. But anyways, so the alliance refers to beasts. Beast Alliance. And that is potentially Autobots and Maximals working together, because these are two very different types of Cybertronians, and they're forming an alliance together to fight a much larger threat, so they need to work together. So that's what I really like about the title. Anyways, let's move on to talk about some casting details for Transformers Beast Alliance. There's a headline from Deadline. Transformers Anthony Ramos eyed to star in next installment for Paramount E1 and Hasbro franchise. Following news that the studio was already in development on a separate Transformers movie from Charm City King's Angel Manuel Soto, its other film looks to have found its lead. Sources tell Deadline that Anthony Ramos is in final negotiations to star in Transformers movie for Paramount E1 and Hasbro that has Stephen Caple Jr. is directing. Last week it was announced the studio was also developing an untitled pick from Soto that would be completely different from this pick, and it has always been the plan to have multiple projects in pre-production at the same time. They're also developing an animated pick from Toy Story 4 director Josh Cooley. So we do have a lead, and that is Anthony Ramos. I've never heard of him, but I like the fact that we're getting an actor that is not a big name, and not a big name like Shia LaBeouf or Haley Steinfeld or Mark Wahlberg. This is an actor that I've never even heard of. So I like that. Okay, and then I like that it. One thing I have to talk about and emphasize about is the fact that they said that it was always their plan, the studio's plan, to have multiple Transformers projects going on at the same time. Okay, so they do have 3 projects. They got the current project, Transformers Beast Alliance, from director Stephen Caple Jr. They got Josh Cooley's animated Cybertron prequel, and they also have an 8th film from Angel Manuel Soto. That's really crazy. Now, I'm just wondering how much of this was from the writer's room. Because I definitely know that, out of the writer's room, they got Transformers Last Night out of it. They got the Bumblebee prequel out of it. They got the animated Cybertron prequel out of it. I'm wondering if these 2 other films, Beast Alliance and the 8th film from Angel Manuel Soto, if that came out of it, or is this something that was entirely separate? I have a feeling that it's separate, and a main reason why is because they got writers that weren't even involved in the writers' room. Like if you tell me the names of the writers involved with Transformers Beast Alliance and Transformers 8, I could tell you right away that they weren't in the writers' room. So this is something that was totally different from the writer's room. The writer's room only worked so much. And if you know how the film industry works, there's a lot of times when they write scripts that end up in the blacklist. Oh, not a blacklist. Is it a blacklist? What's that? I forgot what it's called. Okay, but anyways, it's a bunch of scripts that don't end up being used. Okay, so, and that's normal. you would have one movie but 10 different scripts. That's very, very normal. It's just like the cutting room floor where you have 4 hours of footage but only an hour and a half of actual used footage, right? So that's very, very normal in Hollywood. I'm gonna move on to the next paragraph. Okay, so it says Paramount and Hasbro have tapped Creed 2 Helmer Stephen Cable Jr. to direct from a script by Joby Harold, whose take was chosen over James Vanderbilt's pitch for the future of the franchise. Plot details are being kept under wraps, but Ramos is in negotiations to play a flawed and invulnerable hero who has made mistakes in his life and is eager to redeem himself with the help of Optimus Prime. I just want to go back to talking about James Vanderbilt, and he was mentioned before in other articles before. Him and Joby Harold were always mentioned in the same paragraph. Now, Joby Harold script ended up being used for Beast Alliance. James Vanderbilt, we'll probably never hear from him ever again. Okay? His idea didn't get used. And therefore, that doesn't mean that there's going to be another film based on his writings. So it looks like they decided on two. They decided between two scripts. One of them got chosen. The other one ended up being scrapped. So that's unfortunate, but that's just how things work. Now, Ramos is in negotiations to play a flawed and vulnerable hero who made mistakes in his life and is eager to redeem himself with the help of Optimus Prime. Why does that sound so familiar? That is because it is about a human who wants to do something with his life, who's identified an objective, but he can't achieve it without the help of an Autobot. It doesn't matter if it's Bumblebee or Optimus Prime. In this case of this film, it's Optimus Prime, which means that Optimus Prime is confirmed to be back. Okay, Optimus Prime is back. We know he's back. He was seen in the end of Bumblebee, but we just needed that extra confirmation. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this formula has been done to death. This formula has been used many, many times for every single Transformers film. With like Sam Witwicky, a boy in his car. Bumblebee helps him gets the girl, and he redeems himself. He wants to matter, like in Dark of the Moon. He wants to matter. He wants to do more. He doesn't just want to be a normal human being. He did a lot of stuff for the world, the city, and the world, or the ultimate greater good. But now he wants to matter, like he did in Dark of the Moon, and he gets a chance to redeem himself. So that's been done. Cade Yeager, in Age of Extinction, he wants to do more for his daughter. So with the help of Optimus Prime, he ends up doing a lot more. He ends up saving his daughter and the world. So looking to redeem himself because he really wasn't doing a whole lot with his inventions. It wasn't going anywhere. Unable to pay bills. We got Haley Steinfeld, who's like going through this coming of age story and wants to know where she really belongs in this world, in where she lives, and Bumblebee helps her discover that. So there's that redemption right there. Now we go to this film in Transformers Beast Alliance. Anthony Ramos' character, unlikely hero. Once again, just like all the other three humans that I mentioned, unlikely hero. Now looking to redeem himself. Made mistakes in his life. Not sure where he wants to go in life. So it's a formula that actually works. Okay, no matter how many times we've seen this thing, this plot for humans, it's been done, but it works. The only thing that changes is the action and the robots. You know what I'm saying? So that is what is really just like kind of like a vehicle for like an excuse for robots to do a serious battle with each other. So honestly, that part really doesn't matter. Okay, let's move on to talk about some female leads. While executives will now look to do screen and chemistry tests with his female co-star, Ramos always seemed to be the top choice from the day Cable came on aboard. Those tests with possible co-stars will happen soon, with a decision on casting coming next month. Sources, Kiki Layne and Dominique Fishback are among those meeting for that role. Kiki Layne, Dominique Fishback, Anthony Ramos. How many of you have heard of any of these actors? I've never heard of any of them. I'm sure maybe some of you have and know what shows or movies they have been in, but I haven't seen anything that they have been in, and I like that. I like that we're not getting big stars. I like that we're not getting Mark Wahlberg back or Shia LaBeouf. And Haley Steinfeld's story is done. She's off to her own human journey, dealing with her own human problems. She doesn't need to deal with Autobots and Decepticons anymore. So it is cool to know that we're getting an all new cast. This is a completely different story. It's not a continuation of another human story. We're getting a brand new human story with brand new human characters, which is great, which means that all the films that we're going to see in the future, okay, are going to have different human characters. Their story begins and ends with that one single movie. Now, the only thing that the only thing that rather stays the same is the Autobot characters. Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, they keep on moving forward with their journey. These are the other adventures of Bumblebee and Optimus Prime and the other Autobots. This is not the continuing adventures of Sam Witwicky, of Kay Yeager, just like they were in the first 5 films. We're going on in a very good direction here with the franchise. We are going to see some consistency for once, and that consistency will have nothing to do with the humans, because they're changing up the cast with every single film, at least for these few films: Bumblebee, Beast Alliance, the 8th film, and a Cybertron film. It's gonna be, everything's gonna be this, everything's gonna be different except the Transformers characters. All right, so that's something to be very excited about. I'm really looking forward to this film. What do we know so far about this film? Okay, it's gonna have it's gonna be our introduction to Beast Wars. It's gonna be filmed in Montreal, which is gonna stand in for New York. It's a $200 million budget. They're gonna end their filming in Peru. And if we've learned from Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction, and The Last Night, we know that the foreign location is where the final battle takes place. Egypt, Hong Kong, Cybertron, and now Peru. Why Peru? Because, well, Peru is they got a lot of jungles in South America, so that's perhaps where these more beasts, Predacons and Maximals will come about. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm thinking. All right, I think the final battle is going to take place in Peru, and that's going to be really, really exciting because, you know, I love that it's these films are like globe-trotting stories. Like, they go to different parts of the world, and we get to see that these battles don't always have to take place in America. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. Oh man, I'm really excited. So many people are like, oh man, Beast Wars, I don't really care, but I'm telling you, don't lose faith. Don't lose your hope. This is going to be the same type of film. I mean, not the same type, like the same caliber Transformers film that we've gotten in the past, okay? $200 million. It takes place in the 90s, not $65 million. I mean, 65 million years ago. This is a full-on Transformers film with a big budget, just like we've seen from the Transformers sequels, okay? Mark my words. We're just going to have different characters, different humans, a different time period, and just a different direction, which is something we need, okay? So get excited, all right? My name's Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.